A campus cop in Tulsa, Oklahoma, fired a shot at two teenagers that were making out in a car in the middle of the night on the school property. Now, this is Eliot Elementary School, and the police officer in this case has not been named, but he has been placed on paid administrative leave. Apparently, he saw the car on the school's property or school grounds, and so he went to approach, and as he was approaching, the boy who was behind the wheel decided to attempt to drive away. As he was driving away, the cop fired one shot, and it hit the left tire near the passenger side, obviously. And so, yeah.
I mean, here we go again. This is another one of these just blatant abuses of power.
Yeah.
This guy needs to be fired. Why do you get in this job in the first place? You know, it's a little bit like beating a dead horse with these stories. These people that get into power, abuse the power, and do it with no regard for human life.
So there is a spokesperson.
Wait, this was not an act of protecting himself.
No.
Or preventing a crime.
So let me explain why this happened, okay? Yeah. He is saying that he felt as though, since this male student was behind the wheel and he was behind the wheel of a 3,000-pound car, that he posed an imminent threat to the police officer. So he had to shoot. But keep in mind, the student is trying to drive away. And I get it, right? You want to issue a ticket. You want to give them a slap on the wrist. You want to give them some sort of punishment for what they're doing. They're not supposed to be trespassing at that time. What have you? I don't care, right? And they try to get away. And that bruises your ego. You don't like that. So you're going to literally use deadly force in order to get back at them because your ego is bruised? How ridiculous is that? They're two teenagers that were making out in a car.
Yeah, you know, by the way, as I said in the earlier segment, I don't like to jump on the cops in all these situations, like when we do the cop stuff and he always jumps on the cops. I don't like to do that because they are often put in precarious, dangerous positions and we don't know the truth and a lot of stuff. But something like this where the guy's driving away. He wasn't driving at him with the car. Then it's a weapon. But he's driving away, and there's other ways to catch people, and there's other ways to track people, and everyone has a cell phone that's being tracked, so you can probably get a hold of this kid. So this is just sickening. Now,
the sergeant in the area is actually defending the cop, and again, he's been placed on paid administrative leave. The sergeant says a 17-year-old kid behind a 3,000-pound car is dangerous if he doesn't know what he is doing, and I think that is where we are at odds. He shot into a car that had kids, but that car was doing something in the officer's mind that put us in peril.
But what does that mean, that last sentence?
Put us in peril? First of all, there was one cop. He didn't put you in peril. And also, he didn't even put the one cop in peril because he was trying to drive away. So, but look, this goes back to the argument that Jimmy makes that is actually right. Cops protect their own. They're expecting to wrap up this investigation in like a week, which means it's an internal investigation that will probably result in the guy just getting a week off while he gets paid, and then he's going to be back to work doing stuff like this. And it's scary to know that a police department thinks it's acceptable for a cop to shoot at two teenagers as they're driving away.
By the way, why are these guys always put on paid administrative leave? I mean, I guess it's a union thing, of course, but so you do something bad, and then you get a paid vacation, basically, until they exonerate you, which I wish I had the numbers on, but they exonerate them in a widely disproportionate amount of times.
Yeah.
So you're just getting paid to do something bad.
I'm sure it has to do with unions, and I could understand the reasoning behind it because
there are cases,
there are cases where they're being investigated for something that they didn't actually do. Maybe they did use force appropriately or whatever, and it's unfair for you to not get paid for a week. But maybe the best way to handle that situation is do back pay. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that area, but I totally see what you're saying.